welcome to episode 9 of Review to a Kill. My name's James, and I'm a big James Bond fan.
My name's Tom, and I'm watching these movies for the first time.
He's new to the whole James Bond malarkey.
Watch loads of other movies.
Just not these.
Despicable Me 4's coming out soon.
I know, I can't wait. I'm bursting to see it. Each episode, we are analysing a different film from the James Bond franchise. Me from the point of view of having seen it a million times before, and Tom seeing it for the very first time. And we compare and contrast our scores and find out what we think, where our areas of common ground are, and where we fervently disagree. Now, at the beginning of every episode, we always say the same thing, which is, there will be...
karate! And spoilers!
So, if you've not seen this movie before, please stop now, go and watch this movie, and then come back to us, because we will spoil it for you.
Yeah.
We don't mean to, we just will. We analyse these films with a thorough investigative rigour. And, therefore, we do give away elements of the plot. So if you haven't seen tonight's
very
movie,
much encourage people to watch the original material
absolutely,
of the movie. And this is not meant to be a substitute for that.
This is definitely not. I am not a substitute for high fat.
It couldn't be.
I'm more sort of low fat, really, aren't I?
Yeah.
Episode 9 means Bond film 9. And that, of course, is...
The
Man with the Golden Gun. Which, according to Tom's French chart, just to inject a little bonnet de douche to the proceedings, is l'homme au pistolet d'or. L'homme au pistolet d'or. Very nice if you speak French.
Well
oui,
done,
oui.
James.
Say trade Bond. Yes, very good. Right, I will give you some basic information about the movie. I will zoom through this as quickly as possible, and then we will get to the Bond board, because frankly, that's all you lot are watching for, I know. So, very quickly, this is the 9th official James Bond movie. It is Roger Moore's second appearance as Bond. Now, obviously, Moore has replaced Connery, so we don't do Wig Watch anymore, but we do Threads Watch.
Threads Watch.
Lovely. I think this movie...
Oh, shit. It loops back round when you stop it.
Someone said to me the other day, how much do you plan your podcast? Well, you've just seen...
For a start.
You've just
I
seen
said
evidence
it's not
of
a
it.
podcast.
I did. I said it's a show tube channel cast thing.
And then you said what for... Well, I get there like 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Every day.
Yeah.
Weeks of preparation go into this, as you can see. Right, Threads Watch. So we like to have a look at Roger's amazing wardrobe in these movies. I have to say, there were some good suits and ties in Live and Let Die, but this, we've gone up a level.
Okay.
I mean, this is magnificent.
One standout for sure, but...
There's
quite a few.
And there are a lot, I think, that are worthy of comment. My particular favourite... maybe you disagree, is the cream safari suit jacket he wears in the scene with Lazar. With the epaulets on the shoulders and the enormous...
Nice.
You could land a jumbo jet on those lapels.
An excellent jacket.
I mean, magnificent
for sure.
Jacket, sure.
But no, I would have to disagree.
Go on then, what have you gone for?
Pale olive green combat shirt, white action slacks combo.
Beautiful.
I mean...
Well,
it is a joy.
I looked this up actually because there is a whole website devoted to James Bond's wardrobe,
Good.
and it's actually a set because I knew you'd like this. It is actually a sage green safari shirt and beige trousers. But just the thing to wear while chasing a baddie through Bangkok, wouldn't you say? Just exactly the right thing to wear. I think we ought to just mention as well, like a honourable mention, to the all-cream linen outfit where they're looking over the wall into high fat. Where
hips on his...
That's right,
on his shoulders.
He's gone cream linen shirt and cream linen trousers, like he's playing cricket. It's not like he's gone, I like that cream, all of it. There's no contrast on it, it's just everything. And the other thing I want to...
just shows like he's all or nothing kind of guy.
Oh, straight in. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I want to point out as well is, I don't know if you know, in this movie, Bond almost exclusively wears brown slip-on loafers.
Good.
Because they had a deal with a company for him to wear these shoes. So he wore these brown slip-on loafers, but whether it was like a safari suit or the cream linen suit or whatever. I love the way that someone thought, well, brown slip-on loafers, they'll go with anything.
Yeah.
We can just match them to anything and they'll work,
all-purpose loafers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, just a fantastic array of brilliant mid-70s clothes. And that was Threads Watch.
Threads Watch.
Very good. Only once this time? Stop, quick. There we go. Right, good. Okay, let's talk about the movie. The cast. So Christopher Lee was Scaramanga, who of course is the main villain in this movie. Christopher Lee, the most incredible life. First of all, he was actually a cousin of Ian Fleming's.
Oh, right.
Right, so he knew Ian Fleming. He had the most incredible service in World War II. He volunteered for the RAF in World War II and became an intelligence officer, which is just what James Bond did in the books. In the novels, Bond had been a naval intelligence officer in the Second World War. Lee was nearly killed on several occasions in the war, including once when he tripped over a bomb that didn't go off. Isn't that amazing? And during his service in the Second World War, he once caught malaria 6 times in a 12-month period. I mean, that's just remarkable, isn't it? Extraordinary man.
Not again.
Not again, I have malaria. He spoke fluent English, Italian, French, Spanish and German, and was proficient in Swedish, Russian, Danish and Greek. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine thinking, I don't really know enough languages, I'm Greek, just for the hell of it. So he launched an acting career in which he played Dracula 10 times and starred in 22 films with Peter Cushing. That's more than some people make in their whole careers. He did 22 just with Peter Cushing. By the time this movie came along, he was actually trying to break away from horror. And he had made The Wicker Man, of course, only the year before, which he subsequently went on to say was the best movie he had ever made.
And it's
a masterpiece.
It is a bloody good film.
He also went on, he lived to the age of 93, and he made heavy metal records in his late 80s and early 90s.
I shed blood of Saxon man. I shed the blood of the Saxon man. I shed the blood of the Saxon man. I shed the blood of the Saxon man.
And became the oldest person to have a hit in the UK charts at the age of 91 and a half. That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, just an amazing man and an amazing life. And I think in this, I think he is one of the archetypal Bond films. We will talk about villains later on when we get to the magnificence of the Bond board. But from me, it's going to be a high score. I think he's just a fantastic villain.
Yeah, and I must mention my connection with the Wicker Man.
Please do.
Should I just do it now?
Yeah, go on.
Because everyone knows that, it's Christopher Lee and Britt Eklund are both
in the Wicker Man.
Yes. The other connection is spoilers, massive spoilers for the Wicker Man, but it ends with the bloke burning to death in a wicker cage.
Wood.
And this movie ends with Nick Nack in a wicker cage.
Yes.
Just a few hours away from dying of sunstroke.
Yes.
So it's like the same.
Not on fire.
Not yet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Keep the cameras rolling.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, Britt Eklund in this movie as well as Mary Goodnight. She was a former Mrs. Peter Sellers, of course. She'd also been in The Wicker Man, as you say. Maud Adams as Andrea Anders. 2 Swedish leading ladies in this movie. Maud Adams was Swedish too. Roger Moore described Maud Adams as his favourite Bond girl.
I see.
So there you are. Obviously, they got along very well. Hervé Villechaize as Nick Nack, 3 foot 11 inches tall. He was. I looked it up. Clifton James returned as Sheriff J.W. Pepper.
He does, doesn't he?
He does, big time. Yeah, and the shirts are not the only thing that's a problem.
Yeah, his wife with him as well.
Yes, he does. J.W. And the return of Q, sadly missing from Live and Let Die. Desmond Llewellyn is back in this movie. Plus Lois Maxwell as Moneypenny and Bernard Lee as M, the return of our Bond regulars. A few little things on the script here. Colthorpe, who is the ballistic expert that Q talks to, and chap who made the bullet 007, you know, when he gives basically Q a chance to be even more Q than usual.
Yeah,
he has
you're going to tell me
in
he's like 25.
No, 15. No, so that actor is James Cottons, who was in the Fawlty Towers episode, The Hotel Inspectors. The wine has reacted with the cork and gone bad. I sell outboard motors. It was that guy. So he pops up in that. And a return in this movie from Mark Lawrence, who we saw last in Diamonds Are Forever.
In the beginning.
I didn't know there was a pool down there in Diamonds Are Forever. He pops up in the beginning, as you say, as the gangster in the pre-title sequence.
Just another gangster.
Who also died.
Yeah.
But there
because he died.
Guy Hamilton returned to direct for the fourth and final time. Previously directed Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, and Live and Let Die. He's the only person to do, the only person up to this point to do 3 Bond films in a row as director. Script was written by Richard Maybaum and Tom Mankiewicz, so the last 2 movies combining into a single effort with this script. And this is the last film that Broccoli and Saltzman produced together. Shortly after this movie, Saltzman sold his stake to Broccoli shortly after this film was released. So from this point on, it was Broccoli on his own for the next few movies. This, of course, was made in 1974. Britain was dealing with the energy crisis at the time and 3-day weeks and fuel shortages and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that the energy crisis was part of the plot made it very relevant to the times. Although the Solex agitator is a MacGuffin. It is not a thing. They made it up for the film just to be a central part of this film, but it's not an actual real thing. The film also reflects the martial arts craze that was going on at the time.
Karate!
Cut to the karate.
Not quite. Not yet.
But we will later, quite extensively. So there was a martial arts craze at this point. Enter the Dragon had come out. And as you see, lots of kung fu scenes in this movie. Predominantly Asian locations, set and largely shot in Thailand, Hong Kong and Macau.
Bless you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. This was the 12th and final James Bond novel. There it is. It's the 13th book overall because, of course, it was a collection of short stories as well. Don't forget, novels are in a different order to the films. This is not considered amongst the best novels. In fact, it was only partially finished when Fleming died. So the producers published the first draft. That's why it's thinner as well. Yeah, absolutely. He felt that more drafts were needed, but obviously then he passed away. So it was published in its drafted format.
Did have a bit of ending was a bit too ambiguous.
Yes. They felt it was, absolutely. It was published 8 months after Fleming's death. Some of the same names, so Mary Goodnight's in the novel, Scaramanga's in the novel, but other than that, the plot is completely different. And in fact, the plot of the novel is set in Jamaica. Nothing to do with the Far East. No karate. Right, the production. Normally at this point, I talk about people's foots getting sawn off or someone almost dying on a bobsleigh or whatever. Seemed to be a relatively smooth shoot, this one. The plane that can land on water that Bond pilots towards the end, the pilot actually hit an outcrop as he was coming in to land. And so if you look closely as Bond is landing the plane, there's actually one side that's been sheared off. And so the pilot genuinely had to land this plane just on one side. And as they were rolling, they didn't realise if he was going to actually make it or not. But he did. He did land on just one side. And you can see the damaged side on the movie. So there's an editing challenge for you, my friend. There were lots of problems with the insects in Thailand. The crew did not get on well with the insects and the cast. And the pirates in the area, because it was not a big tourist area at the time, it is now. Pirates actually came onto the island and stole some of the equipment, generators and so on, while they were filming. But other than that, no severed limbs, no near-death experiences. It seems to have been relatively straightforward, apart from the uncomfortable accommodation arrangements. Right, controversies. This will be less straightforward. There are quite a few things in this movie that wouldn't be included now, I think we can safely say. So we have Bond being violent to women again, particularly to Andrea in the hotel room, which is quite a...
Goes on a bit as well.
Yeah, quite a jarring scene. And as you say, quite long as well, quite protracted. Roger Moore was very uncomfortable with it even then and came to really dislike that scene. There's something else which I know it was intended to be fun, but the whole sleeping with Andrea while Goodnight is in the wardrobe is not really aged very well. Yeah. And also the dialogue in that scene is awful. Your turn will come, I promise.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Don't even give her like a newspaper or... she'd need a newspaper and a torch.
Well, I think they're still sort of working out what Roger Moore's Bond is. And I think in this one, he comes across as just very oily, very oleaginous. There's a word for you.
Take a word for it.
Yeah, no. I think that's the word, isn't it? If you're oily, I think that's the word. Anyway... it's not very nice. Also, of course, there is a slight problem of Bond taking advantage of a woman who is basically Scaramanga's sex slave, which, again, isn't terribly good sort of 50 years hence. There is also a problem with J.W. Pepper in this movie, in that he sort of drifts over from being a redneck into a sort of...
Pull your cars over, you little brown ponyhead!
Well, racist, I suppose. Some of his language is not great, is it?
Defensive of him last time because I found it, there was a bit with the brother-in-law gag that we didn't really talk about. Yeah. But you're kind of watching that going, well, it's poking fun at their racism.
Exactly, that's how it was in certain parts of the country.
And I think this was a little bit... Racists can just enjoy his...
Yeah. It's a little bit more in your face,
use of, pointy head is what he keeps saying. I'll say it because never even heard that. I've never even heard that. No. I don't think that slur has kind of stood the test of time. Hopefully, definitely not Bristol. You never hear people say that.
No, absolutely not.
But
however, reception for this movie. Well, it was pretty mixed. The critical reception for this movie, both then and now. I think there is a feeling that the series needed a shot in the arm and was getting a bit uninspired. Certain people do love this movie, but, this one tends to come toward the bottom of Bond Twitter. Hello, everybody. Bond Twitter's rankings. Lots of praise, however, in contemporary and back then for Christopher Lee Scaramanga, which, as I say, seen, I think, as one of the great villains in the series. Today, 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. So not a great score, really. However, box office, on paper, you would say it did really well. Budget was 7 million. Box office, 97 million. Now, you would say that obviously is tremendously profitable and fantastic return on investment for the producers. However, it was $60 million down from Live and Let Die. And is still the fourth lowest grossing movie in the series. Right. So maybe a little uninspired. We shall see. The only way to find out, of course, is to move to the ultimate arbiter of all things Bond. Le Board du Bond, which we shall fill in after this extremely short cutaway. Now, Tom, will you please activate the Bond board?
Oh, Bond board. I decided to do it in the voice of a kid who's on Nightmare.
Why?
Oh, Bond board, shine bright like the sun.
Yes.
Stop us from looking like a pair of shitty plums. Activate. Amen.
We are definitely two of those, aren't we?
Do you remember that show, Nightmare?
Yes, well, I tried to forget it, to be honest. But anyway, here is the Bond board. And these 12 elements are what we think make up a perfect Bond film. Down here on the left, we have all the previous movies. I don't think we'll go for the full chart rundown, otherwise we may be here all night.
Yeah.
Can you make it appear on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's appearing on the screen now.
Let's do that then.
There we are.
We could just say the top three.
Top three. What's in third, Pop's Happiness Date?
Is from Russia with Love. That's got 184. Don't need to do the douches, though. It's already there.
Oh, of course, we haven't done it.
You can try, but it won't
Well,
work
if my douches are redundant,
sorry, we'll do that. Do some douches at the end.
No, I refuse now. I'm having a tantrum now. No, I'm not doing my douches. Go on,
about the
number
douches. It's ruined the show. Thunderballs, number 2. That's 186.
186.
186. And Goldfinger is our top film, 191. I would say this is ranking like how Bondy is a Bond movie. Like, it's not necessarily, we're not determining the best. We have got all the categories of all the Bond elements. So I think that's why I'm happy. I thought about this the other day, thinking I'm more comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Seeing what a low score Dr. No got, because I really love Dr. No.
There.
It's just there's not as Bondy a Bond movie as all the other Bond movies.
And for the record, Dr. No is not the worst movie we've seen so far.
Definitely not.
It is in last place, but it's not the worst movie we've seen so far.
I would say we're ranking the Bondiness of everything.
We are. The Bondiness of everything. That's something you should put on the Bond board.
Yeah.
Put a heading that says the Bondiness of everything.
You want to add stuff to it, mate.
Well,
seriously, Gravity's already fucking winning.
Well, I know. And also, you can't improve on perfection, can you? I mean, look at it. I've
already got to keep sticking bits back on every bloody time.
I bet you're glad you put this together now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wake up and it's all collapsed again.
That's me lunch hour gone. Right, the first element we're going to look at is the opening sequence, the pre-title sequence. What do you make of the pre-title sequence?
I enjoyed it. So we got it cuts. It opens with on the island, Scaramanga Island. Knick knack Tabasco. That's a good opening line from
Tabasco.
A character. Yes, 3 nipples. Shows them off right at the beginning.
Maud Adams in a bikini, 3 nickels, Tabasco. They've covered all the bases, haven't they?
It's going well. And then some geezer comes along who...
Mark Lawrence from Diamonds Are Forever,
and gets sent into like a fun house.
Yes.
And there's all weird stuff going on.
Like Disneyland, but where you die.
Where murders happen. Yeah.
And an interesting thing about this opening sequence, for the second film in a row, no Bond in the opening sequence.
No, Roger Moore's there.
Well, yeah, at least no live Bond.
That is the thing. I enjoy that very, very realistic waxworks. Just the actor just pretending, trying his best to stay still.
At the end of Police Squad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good, not outstanding.
And
I would say. A good opening sequence, not one of the greats, but fine.
Oh, there is a good... The very last bit where he turns the stairs into the slide and does a really cool skating move down the stairs just before he grabs the gun.
Yeah.
That's cool. He's got a nice tracksuit on.
Yes, the good 70s velour tracksuit. Yeah. Always good to see.
And I like Nick Nack's control station with all the...
Yeah.
With
the seat after. So what have you scored?
I've gone 6.
I've also gone 6 for the opening.
It's kind of cool, but
not outstanding.
Not like
So Tom's scores are in blue. Yeah. My scores will be in red. You think I'd know by now, wouldn't you? Episode 9. So 2 6s out of 10 for the opening sequence. That brings us to the theme song. What do we? Bless you. What do we make of the theme song?
This one. No, that's not right. Sorry, that was something else.
That was something completely different.
That was the hustle.
Do the hustle.
Sorry. Yes, I don't like this one.
No.
I'm just going to come right out and say it.
I've written down the words Lulu, meh. That's literally my comment on here. Yeah.
I will add the term, I think I would say this is low rent Bond music. We'll get on to the theme, the score because I think it's musically it's not that bad. It's just I'd take it. It's John Barry wrote the tune, didn't he? And it's Don Black.
Don Black did the lyrics, and there was some disagreement over the lyrics. Harry Saltzman hated the lyrics.
I thought with Harry Saltzman saying, some of his he didn't like Goldfinger. He wanted someone else's rather than Paul McCartney. I thought he was going to go, this is my favourite one. I think we were polar opposites because I don't rate Lulu.
He has a powerful weapon.
Yeah, but I just find it's exposition lyrics.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cabaret.
would you...
the start of like a really bad Lloyd Webber Bond musical or something?
No, I know what you mean. A spoof almost.
Yeah.
And would you like to know something that would make it probably worse for you?
Yeah.
Alice Cooper wrote a theme song for this and it was rejected. And it's actually quite good.
Okay.
He put it on a subsequent album. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's fine. But it's not... It's not in your Diamonds Are Forever or your Live and Let Die league, is it? So it's
definitely
significantly stepped down from the last two and from the next one as well, of course. So what are you scoring it?
3.
3? As low as that?
Like I said, I don't like it. Okay,
not a fan.
No.
Well, you couldn't say dog shit, so 3 it is. I've gone 6.
6,
which is I think the lowest score I've given any Bond thing so far. So perhaps I'm just a generous marker. Music and score. This was scored again by John Barry. John Barry felt that this was one of his weaker scores. There was a rush to get it done. He only had 3 weeks to write it.
Right.
So maybe
there is a lot of
they're
like in a different key. Just
nearly.
Yes, it's...
You know that old joke about Les Dawson playing the piano badly? Tom does that but doesn't mean to.
Yes.
It does repeat a lot, that little motif, doesn't it?
If you do that...
Oh,
that's
nice. You didn't go up that high, did it?
Very high, isn't it? If you go too high, you get into...
You'll go off the edge of the screen.
Yeah.
Nice. If you're watching this in Canada or somewhere, that probably didn't mean a lot to you. That was the theme tune to an old British TV series.
Was it? I didn't realise.
So it was, You can't claim copyright on that. No.
I'll probably get bollocked for that now, won't I?
You will. The BBC will be after you.
God.
There is one thing we need to talk about in this score.
Yeah.
The slide whistle.
Yeah.
On the
You're not having
jump.
that.
I am not having that. And do you know what? I don't know hardly anyone who does. Maybe 1 or 2 rogue outliers on Bond Twitter, but most of them go, why did they put that slide whistle on that stunt?
Yeah, okay.
And even John Barry came to regret it.
Right. I will say that doesn't annoy me as much as some other things have annoyed me in previous movies. I totally understand why it annoys everyone, and I'll bet if you put just a different sound, like maybe the sound of a car jumping,
or just no sound at all,
maybe, or a bit of music, anything, you probably go, actually, no, go with that. We've already got JW in the car
bouncing around screaming, just have JW screaming. Wow. Anyway, what have you scored the score? I've
gone 7 because like
that's a bit higher than I thought you might.
So because I actually kind of like the the tune,
the bit you just played.
That is the wrong bloody pen. What did I say? 7.
You are blue. You're scoring 7, and I'm scoring 6.
Cool.
So
I kind of like it. I just thought that the theme tune was the style was all off, and that's what ruined it for me.
Right, stunts. The most famous stunt in this movie, of course, is the corkscrew jump.
Yes.
Which, leaving the slide whistle aside, is an amazing stunt. It was performed by a driver who had the surname Bumps. Sorry, the nickname. Bumps. Not surname. No. Lauren Bumps Willard was his name. They did it. Strange this, I know, but they only did it once. Funny that. Peculiar.
Right,
You'd have thought, just do it again so we can get it from another angle. No, they did it once. He was given a $30,000 bonus on the spot by the grateful producers. And it was the first jump of its kind ever recorded on film.
Right.
There was also, you may have heard the reference as Rog, supposedly, is driving towards the bridge. He says, "Ever heard of Evel Knievel?" Which again is obviously 1974. He was very popular at this time and so on. That really is the outstanding stunt in the movie, I think, don't you?
Yeah, it's the thing about it is it's possibly the best stunt they've ever done.
Yeah.
And maybe they thought, well, we don't really need to do
anything else. Yeah, because if we kill this guy, we won't have any other drivers anyway. So
bit in the boat, but I think they couldn't have just done a whole bit like the last movie again.
No, I mean, I suppose technically the kid being pushed into the river is a stunt, but there's not much else other than the
just
car.
Desserts, I say.
Well, indeed.
Bloody nuisance, that
bloody nuisance, bloody kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it is a brilliant corkscrew jump. I think we should point out as well.
Yeah.
There is, you'll be delighted to know, another milk advert for this movie. Yes, they're all sitting around Pinewood Studios. Christopher Lee and Guy Hamilton and Roger Moore and Britt Eklund, all drinking pints of milk like it's the most totally normal thing in the world. We're all just making a movie and drinking a pint of milk. And it says, pick up a pinter, stay on top.
Yeah.
So, yes,
I was
if you can find
that I could access that last time, yes.
It's all freely available on the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, apart from the corkscrew jump, not a lot in the way of stunts.
Oh, karate!
Karate! There's karate, apparently, is there?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah.
Very good, very good. Do you think it works?
The karate?
Yeah. Does it look convincing?
It looks
I'm not into my martial arts films, so I'll have to take your guidance on this.
Well, it just looks a little bolted on. I mean, the martial arts is fine, but...
Like it's been shoehorned into the plot.
Yeah. It's like you say, Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
It's like, let's do a bit of that. It's not...
It's popular, so we'll do that.
Yeah.
And the two girls beating up the entire dojo of guys, I mean, fun or stupid? Where are we drawing the line?
Stupid fun.
Stupid fun.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's a short stab of karate for 5 minutes or so, and then they just, because then it's just condensed to that one section. That's it.
Yeah. I like the guy who,
about it.
They beat him up and Rog goes to hit him and just sort of pushes him over.
Yeah.
Then he recovers, runs after them, and then gets thrown into the river off the bridge. I mean, that's a hell of a day for that extra. Can you just? He's going to pick you up and just. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. What are we scoring stunts? Because we have one of the great stunts in the whole of the series, but not a whole lot else.
Because I've only gone 7.
I've also gone 7 for that reason.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not going to count when he gives that sumo wrestler a wedgie. Maybe the sumo wrestler should say bloody was done.
Vehicles is next. Vehicles.
Yay.
What have you got for vehicles?
Well, the most notable has to be Scaramanga's
flying car.
Plane. Yeah.
The plane car. There was a product tie-in with AMC Motors for this movie.
Right.
And that was an AMC Matador Brougham Coupe in a nice 70s bronze. Lovely. With the wings, the stunt car was nearly 30 feet long and 42 feet wide. Ooh. So you wouldn't get it down the Gloucester Road in a hurry. And it was 10 feet high as well, by the way. And disappointingly, it didn't actually fly.
Ugh.
The thing you saw flying was a model that was 1 metre long, and they shot that in Dorset. So, sorry. None of that was even in Thailand or anywhere else. However, that was the big AMC Matador. Bond gives chase in another AMC, the AMC Hornet X.
Yes.
They both look quite big and wallowy and rear-wheel driven and not easy to get around those sort of rough, dusty roads. Is it just me?
Yeah.
They sort of look like they might be difficult to drive.
Yes. Rather chunky things, aren't they?
Big things.
Yes.
They take a long time to walk round these massive American supercar things, don't they? So.
Yeah, Bond's got his own seaplane.
Excellent.
Blown up.
Yes, Bond's plane is a Republic RC-3 CB. Like I know what the hell that means. But anyway, if you're an aviation enthusiast, I hope that means something to you. It is an all-metal amphibious sports aircraft, which means it can take off and land both on land or water. So there we are. You learned something there, didn't you? I still don't think it's as good as the Galloping Sausage.
No.
And there is also Goodnight drives a little MGB around Hong Kong, which is quite a nice little thing to see. Yeah. Although, again, in a nice 70s taupey, beigey, light browny sort of colour you would never get these days. Mustardy, off-white or whatever. And I thought for a moment we would have another hovercraft. I was getting very excited at the prospect of another hovercraft. And it's not. Because the service between Hong Kong and Macau was a hydrofoil, which I'm reliably informed is different to a hovercraft.
Right. Okay.
Apparently that ship is still active today. These days you can actually drive from Hong Kong to Macau over a big bridge they've built. Clever, isn't it? What will they think of next? And Scaramanga's junk is very nice. That's the other thing we should say.
Oh, yeah.
The junk is extremely luxurious. Autopilot, double beds.
Is that?
Bar.
I thought you were doing your double entendres again.
Scaramanga's junk.
That is nice, yes.
No, it is a very nice vessel.
Yes. And good if you happen to be a little fella. Good for running around and hiding when you're trying to...
Whack him on the shin, hide under the table. Yeah.
Loads of bottles to chuck around and...
Have I missed any vehicles?
I don't think so, no. Big car, seaplane, Scaramanga's car plane.
Girt big plane, girt big car.
And I have gone 7.
I also have gone 7. Our scores are very similar for this movie.
They are.
Right, what's next? I have villain next. Do you have villain next? I believe you do, yes. What do you make of the villain?
I very much like him.
Yeah.
He's probably not just Christopher Lee, but Scaramanga's like one of the best things about the movie.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Christopher Lee plays him impeccably.
Yes.
And it's just after The Wicker Man, isn't it? I think
it is just literally just after, yeah.
Rolling on a high from that.
Well, you're right in everything you say, but the producers didn't offer it to him first.
Oh.
They offered it to Jack Palance, who turned it down. Okay. So it could have been Jack Palance. But Christopher Lee is fantastic as Scaramanga. And what I like about him, I mean, this is a man with a 30-year acting career by this point, so he's very experienced and could carry the movie. But also, he's menacing and sophisticated. There's kind of two sides to it.
Yeah.
But underneath, he is clearly completely mad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very sophisticated with the wine and the clothes and the blah, blah, blah. But he's clearly absolutely as mad as a box of frogs underneath it. And he just sort of lets that show through a little bit occasionally. It's just a little look or a little stare or something he does where you can sort of see the fire in his eyes. I think he's just a really, really fantastic villain and a great performance. I've gone 9 for villain.
Oh.
I've gone big 9. I think this is definitely a high point of this movie.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
That's what I've got.
So you've scored 8 then.
I've scored 8. And forgotten how pens work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which colour's which. So now we've gone from strong. Villain. What about henchman? Because really, normally we're talking about Odd Job, or we're talking about big scary henchmen.
Yeah.
But in this, of course, the henchman is a 3'11" small person.
Yeah.
So a different kind of henchman. Does it work for you?
Yeah, I enjoy him. I liked his little. We just got a new subscriber. That's nice, isn't it?
Hey, hello, new
Hi,
subscriber.
Swagweegee.
Swagweegee?
I think so, yeah.
Hi, nice to have you
Thanks
on board.
for subscribing.
Thank you. Not everyone gets a personalised welcome when you subscribe, but if you can try and take future subscriptions while we're actually filming, that would be great.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying
Knick-Knack. Yes, it's kind of getting in that territory. Are we just laughing at him? Which feels a bit mean, but I think it's fair to say there is a bit of that.
Yeah.
But he's got, he's meant to be smart. He's got all his little his tools and his controls, and he's a bit of a devious little bastard.
He is.
Just I would have just waited it out on the boat and chipped off at the end.
And the thing about with Scaramanga, I think he does identify with Scaramanga a lot, doesn't he? Because they're both quite devious. There was a brilliant scene, by the way, that was cut from this movie concerning Scaramanga, where Scaramanga has, you know, when he says, "I only need one for my bullets." There's a scene where Bond throws something up in the air. Scaramanga, thinking it's Bond, turns and fires, and of course uses his bullet.
Yeah.
But then you see that he has another bullet hidden in his waistband, in his belt, and the swine was lying when he said he only had one bullet. Really good scene, and they cut it from the movie. And I think you mentioned Nick Nack is deceitful. I think maybe he sees a bit of that in Scaramanga as well, because we would have seen that in Scaramanga had they left it in the movie. And as you say, Nick Nack was doing the whole, if you kill him, all of this will be mine, and da-da-da, which is clearly all nonsense, just to sort of lure Bond into the funhouse. So he's just as mad and nasty as Scaramanga. He just looks a bit funnier, I suppose, being the size that he is.
Yeah. And just one last thing on Nick Nack. The reverse of the very realistic waxwork.
Very realistic.
There's a bit that's meant to actually be him. There's definitely a chunk of plastic. You know, when he's pretending to be the guard with the mask on. The bit he walks past isn't a human.
Isn't Nick Nack. No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. But there we are. What have you said for Henchman?
8.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. You like him that much, do you? Okay. I've only gone 7 for Nick Nack. I don't dislike him. He's quite in the same league as Scaramanga.
I also included high fat.
High fat.
Which
you know I mentioned the high fat, low fat earlier. Yeah. That genuinely was what they were planning to do earlier on. There was originally 2 baddies called high fat and low fat.
Yeah.
And low fat was subsequently dropped, probably just as well. High fat is a slightly odd one, isn't he? Constantly banging on about his mausoleum and all that kind of stuff. But he does do the Bond stuff quite well when he realises that it's Bond pretending to be Scaramanga and so plays along with it and all that. I think is quite good. Normally at this point we talk about Bond's allies as well.
Yeah.
I think we have to say Lieutenant Hip is, let's be honest, pretty useless.
Yeah.
You know, takes his nieces along to a raid and all this kind of thing. I mean, really, not a brilliant character, I don't think.
No.
Lieutenant Hip. Yeah. Not much for the actor to work with there. Right. Location.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need to like the Far East. Hong Kong, Macau and Thailand, extensively used. In Hong Kong, that submerged liner in the harbour was real, by the way. That was the Queen Elizabeth, the RMS Queen Elizabeth. It really was in Hong Kong harbour at the time, although it wasn't a real intelligence base. Well, so far as we know, maybe. Hong Kong, I think, looks great on film. I think it looks really, really good. It's nice to see it at that time, obviously under British control at the time. Also went to Macau, which is right next door. So Bond is sort of crisscrossing the globe because he shoots over to Lebanon and Beirut and then pops back to London and then pops over here and pops back to London. So there's a lot of... I don't think they had carbon footprints really in 1974. I don't think it was really a thing at that time. So Bond was just merrily dropping around the island. Thailand, Bangkok was used extensively. And what is now known as James Bond Island, which is this huge tourist resort now in Thailand. But back in those days, no one ever went there. They found this island with this amazing shaped rock and thought, what a brilliant place to film, and but no one had ever been there before that. Its name is Koh Khao Phi Kan. If I've pronounced that wrong, I'm very, very sorry, but that's how it looks to me. All the interiors were done at Pinewood Studios, including the power station on the island. That was Pinewood. And the fun house. Also Pinewood. And they also used Pinewood for the canted sets. That's canted. They the sideways sets that are supposed to be inside the ship. The wonky base. That's the technical phrase for it. Should we do a canted set? No, let's do a wonky base. So all of that was Pinewood. And also the part that was set in Beirut was not shot there. They did not go anywhere near Lebanon. It was all done in Pinewood.
I think apart from the very beginning on the island, they're in a lot outdoors for like the first hour.
No,
there's like maybe an establishing shot here or there, but
absolutely. The island locations I think look great. And as you say, that first shot on the island with the rock in the background as Mark Lawrence is coming up the beach, I think looks completely fantastic. I think the set design, I think we are missing Ken Adam.
Yeah.
He's back for the next 2 movies.
Oh, good.
And I think you will see a marked improvement in the next 2 movies. So
I really did like the wonky bass.
The wonky bass is
really
good. Yeah. Although it must have messed with your head to film on that for 10 hours all day. Like,
people
you
just
know,
chucking up everywhere.
Oh, good evening, 007.
Yeah.
What do you make of the...
I've gone 6.
Okay.
I liked them, but kind of nothing like crazily different to some of the things we've seen before.
True.
We've been around.
Well, I've gone 7, but just looking at this, that's the same as I've put for 2 others. No, I'm going to stick with a 7.
Okay.
A low 7, but I will stick with a 7, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's time for Tom's plot summary. Da 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 da. Go.
Okie, let's get ready.
With a large glug of whatever that is. Pernod, ouzo, marmalade and salt.
Scaramanga Island.
Yes.
Occupied by Francisco Scaramanga, Andrea Anders and Knick Knack. And they welcome gangster Rodney, who James is looking up to check.
I'm sure he's not called Rodney. Anyway,
he's called Rodney, as he intends to kill Scaramanga. But there's a showdown in Scaramanga's funhouse, and Rodney is killed.
You plonker.
Yeah. London, M's office. A golden bullet with 007 etched on it is received. Signs point to Scaramanga. So with a wink and a nudge, Bond goes off to investigate. Beirut. Bond meets a belly dancer who keeps...
Sorry, you sound like Rolly Birkin QC from the Fast Show, you know. Cairo.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Right, Beirut.
Yes.
Bond meets a belly dancer who keeps a bullet in her belly button that was used to kill this bloke that she was having sex with.
Years before.
Yeah. Bond nicks the bullet while fighting loads of baddies. He tracks down the chap who made the bullet, 007, and gets him to tell him how he ships the bullet by threatening his knackers. Hong Kong! Bond slaps Andrea about, so she tells him stuff about Scaramanga, leading him to the Bottoms Up Club, where this bloke is shot outside by Scaramanga next to Bond, and then Knick Knack takes the Solex agitator from him. Bond meets Lieutenant Hip, who pretends to arrest him, but really takes him to M's wonky base, and is assigned to get the Solex back.
Rodney. I never knew that. You've taught me something there, Tom. Thank you.
I've taught James something.
You have. Thank you. Well done. Sorry, continue.
Not even halfway through, mate. Bangkok! Bond pretends to be Scaramanga, meeting High Fat, who is suspected of arranging the murder that we just witnessed.
Yes.
But Scaramanga is already there, so High Fat makes James Bond fight members of his martial arts academy, but he gets away with the help of Hip and his 2 nieces and jets off on a speedboat again. After serving justice to a nuisance child, Bond meets up with Goodnight and Scaramanga kills High Fat.
Yes.
Yeah. Gaining his empire and the Solex.
And for a laugh.
Yeah.
My God, there's another page.
Bond stuffs
How long is this movie? Is it War and Peace?
Bond stuffs Goodnight in a wardrobe and gets it on with Andrea, who wants to kill Scaramanga. Right. They plan to meet so she can give him the Solex, but when Bond gets there, she's dead. And then Scaramanga comes along and gives Bond a load of shit, but Bond sneaks the Solex over to Hip, who passes it on to Goodnight. But she gets trapped in the boot of Scaramanga's car, which can bloody fly. Hang on, no. But before that, Bond bumps into Sheriff J.W. Pepper, who's really getting into the culture and traditions of holidaying in Thailand. They do a jump when chasing Scaramanga, but he flies off because his car can fly. Bond, we're nearly there, James. Bond uses Goodnight's homing beacon to come to her rescue on a seaplane. Once at Scaramanga Island, Scaramanga shows off all his science gear that he's nicked from High Fat. showing it off. He does, doesn't he? Look at all this I got from
We're entirely self-sufficient.
That he's going to sell to the highest bidder. He shoots Bond's plane with an energy beam for a laugh, and then he proposes they do the pistols at dawn thing. But when they do, he buggers off into Scaramanga's funhouse. Bad idea, as Bond switches places with an extremely realistic wax model of himself and shoots and kills Scaramanga. Bond and Goodnight get the Solex and escape the base, which is being blown up due to a man knackering up the temperature. Don't you believe in signs? He says, on a boat, Nick Nack attacks Bond, but he gets shoved in a suitcase and then left to die of sunstroke while Bond and Goodnight make love.
While M is listening, the old perv. There we are. An excellent summary, Tom. Thank you. They are getting longer, aren't
everyone,
they? They are, yeah.
I thought that one would be quick and easy, but
no, none of these things.
For that.
There's nothing quick and easy about this whole thing. Right? There's nothing quick and easy about this episode. I think there are some very good individual scenes here.
Oh.
I think Bond with Lazar is a very good scene.
Yes.
The lunch with Christopher Lee. When I kill, it's on the specific orders of my government. And I think is a very good scene.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to sort of hang together very well. There are good individual moments, but maybe as a complete whole. James Longshaw's going to hate this. Sorry, James. But I know this is your favourite Roger Moore film. But for me, it doesn't quite hang together. Am I being a bit harsh on the plot there?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I only.
If you haven't lost the will to live, having had to write all that down, of course. Yeah.
I did give it 7 because there's a lot to it, and I like.
You like throwing your pen around?
Yeah,
no, that's all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's interesting because you've scored the story higher than you scored the story for Live and Let Die, and much higher than you scored it for Diamonds Are Forever. Now I've scored the 2 stories for Diamonds and Live and Let Die higher than this one because I've only gone 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Perhaps I'm just not as big a fan of karate. Who knows? Well, anyway, there we are. That was a very thorough rundown of the story. Several hours ago, when we started the Bond board, we said there were 12 elements to a Bond film. There are only 3 left.
Yeah.
And they are...
Gadgets, gags, and girls.
What is that? Oh, is it Nick Nack's?
No, his little gong. He's come back just.
He's caught on blur, you know. Well, there we are. He's come back to serve the mushrooms with Tabasco. I like the way you've obviously done that and thought, no, once is not enough. I need to repeat that several times. Overlay it as well, so it's all like sounds like an orchestra. Sounds like he's falling down the stairs holding the gong. Yes, that's the look I'm going for. Very nice. Well, I'm very impressed. Right, gadgets, gags, and girls are the last 3. You're right there. They're the last 3 categories. So, gadgets.
Right.
What have you got, great mate?
We've got the triggerless rifle. Not bad.
The what?
Triggerless rifle.
Oh, yes, of course. I forgot about the triggerless
It's hosed in the butt.
Yes. Squeeze it.
The Solex agitator itself, but what is it?
A MacGuffin.
Well, yeah, but what is it?
It was to convert solar energy into power somehow.
It does power the beam thing, doesn't it, I suppose?
Except it's just a little thing, isn't it? But anyway, of course, the golden gun itself.
The golden gun. The assembly scene of that is pretty cool.
Very memorable gadget in the series. Fountain pen, a cigarette case, which we've all got one of those, so it looks totally normal. A lighter and a cufflink was what it was made up of. I was sort of thinking, what if you were wearing a short sleeve shirt and you wanted to shoot someone? Why would you have a cufflink? Hold on, let me just get this cufflink out of my pocket, which is totally normal. As I say, spare bullet in the belt buckle, clever. And that shame they took that scene out. I think that would have worked very well. But yes, the golden gun, a very memorable gun. There was genuinely one you could put together, although the one you see Christopher Lee running around with is a single piece actual thing that they made as a solid gun so it didn't all fall apart. But yes, definitely one of the better gadgets in the series, I think. I haven't got any other gadgets. We're a bit gadget light in this movie.
It's really light.
Yeah. Which, considering they dropped Q from the last one because they wanted fewer gadgets, but there were lots of gadgets in it.
Yeah.
Then they've brought Q back into this one, and there are very few gadgets.
Yes.
I suppose the flying car, technically. Yeah. And I do like the scene where he's talking about, oh, that's perfectly possible, sir. We're working on one now. You know, nice to see Q back. But there's not many gadgets.
Always nice to see Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are you going for gadgets?
I've only gone 5.
Ooh, look, I've gone 6. I like the golden gun, I have to say.
Yeah. But, golden gun was all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Not too bad, I suppose. Right, gags. I'd like to kick off on gags, if I may, just very briefly with one.
You go for it.
Because, certainly, sir, is one of my favourite moments in all of Bond. When JW's banging the car and says, how about a demonstration, boy? Not realising that who it is who's got in the car. And of course, Roger goes, certainly, sir, and just drives straight through the plate glass window out onto the road. It's genuinely one of my favourite moments in the whole of the series, because he could have just done it and not said a word. But to add the little certainly, sir, like he's sort of playing along with it, I just thought, and I thought they both played it really, really well. That first part of that chase scene, I really, really like. There are lots of one-liners. Obviously, she's just coming, sir, and one or two others. What have you got in the way of gags? I can see you've got a list there.
I got a few. I got either I've lost my charm. Not from where I'm standing.
That is a very good line. Yeah.
And the cab driver, once he swallowed the bullet, and the cab's like, "Hotel, mister?" He's like, "No, the nearest pharmacy." Not bad. The way that Desmond Llewellyn delivers.
Chap who made the bullet 007.
He must have found me quite titillating.
Yes. Good line.
Talking about his third nip. Chew me. Are we going to allow that?
I'm sorry. That is a bit whack, isn't it? God. Chew me. Oh God. Yeah, really? Okay.
When he says what you might call a Mexican screw off, gentlemen.
Yeah. No, don't get it. Never have.
Is it just meant to be like just?
Mexican standoff, Mexican screw off. Close enough. That's the only thing I can think. I mean, I doesn't quite work.
It's not very good one.
No, not very good.
Sorry about that, Rog. No. We don't like that one.
I have to say, not from where I'm standing, Rog delivers that line very, very well. Yeah. The little correction on the tie and the little smile and all that, I think he does deliver that line extremely well.
We've got. I was glad that kid gets thrown out of the boat. Just say that. Just stop being so precocious, kids. You won't get thrown out of boats.
Exactly.
All right? You've got to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the return of JW. Didn't he say elephants? They're Democrats.
No, for a long time he said elephants, they're Democrats. But I looked it up and it's elephants, we're Democrats. Because the elephant is the sign of the Republican Party.
I didn't understand that.
I agree, it's a little convoluted and it's not particularly clear. But I do like. I'm okay with the fact they brought JW back.
And Maybell.
And have him on holiday pissing around. I think it's fine. I don't like the sort of direction it went in.
Were they on their way to the Mensa exam? Or where are you?
I quite like the sort of like when he's on the blower going, I've been deputised. I think that works quite well.
I like when he's when Bond's like, he's at headquarters.
Just sort of stop talking to me for 5 minutes.
Far too much. Just why has he gone on holiday to anywhere?
And the whole "this is my department" when he walks over and starts chatting to the police.
He's so angry that everyone's forein.
Well, exactly.
Like, what the fuck did you expect?
Yeah. Almost like an Englishman in Benidorm who sees a Spaniard. I've gone 8 for gags. I've probably gone a little high because I do like the certainly, sir. And I do like the not from where I'm standing. Some of the other gags I think don't really land.
And also JW, he does this in both movies, but it never causes any problems. But I'm sure he always goes, "You're that secret agent!" like, yeah. So I always enjoy. He could do that as much as he likes, and that would always make me laugh. Excuse me. But
so I've said 8.
You've said 8. I'm only saying 6, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you not like Certainly, Sir? I thought it was a great moment.
Yeah.
And the plate glass window, I just...
it was good.
I just think that's a great moment. Yeah.
Worthy of a 6.
Worthy of a 6, which leads us to Girls, our final category. And I'm afraid for the second movie in a row, we don't have really very well developed female characters, do we? Because in the novel, Goodnight is actually one of the highlights of the novel. She's resourceful and intelligent and brave and, very, very good. The way this character is written is almost sort of slapstick at times, isn't it? And not very good at all.
And it's kind of like she's almost like they were saying with Rosie last time, but she's just crap. They almost say it to her face that she's just useless. And good night, bloody women.
That's almost what James does, isn't it? At times, very sort of.
You think you can't really blame her for getting trapped in the boot, and she was trying to put homing beam on the device on the which she did. She was trapped with it,
But they did pick up the Homer, so that's how they knew where she was. So, I don't know why they sort of wrote her that way. I suppose it was to go for comedy, but it didn't quite work, did it? Andrea Anders, I think there are hints at a more developed character, because she's clearly got this awful relationship with Scaramanga, and she's been very resourceful to try and get out of it, getting his fingerprints on the paper and all that kind of thing.
It's not explored in much depth.
No, and she's taken advantage of by Bond, and
like it's becoming a running
thing.
The one of the women will get killed about halfway through the movie.
Yeah, exactly. There's 2 women, one dies. Take your pick. Yeah. So there's a hint at a more developed character there, but it just never quite happens, I don't think. So, for the second movie in a row, we've not really got great female characters.
No.
I've said 5 because I think they're fractionally better than last time, but not much. I went 4 last time.
I think Goodnight's a bit more rubbish than Solitaire. And I've only gone 4.
You've gone 4, you've gone 1 less. Oh, there we go. So anyway, there are better female characters to come. I hasten to add. So that is it.
Done.
We are going to take a break.
Yeah.
Have another drink, obviously, and then we're going to score our Bond film to see where the Man with the Golden Gun comes in our overall scoring matrix. Don't go away for the 3 seconds that you're about to watch a little black and white cutaway shot now. Welcome back. We have a score. Tom, would you like to reveal to the watching millions what we have scored?
James has scored The Man with the Golden Gun 81 points.
Out of a possible 120.
I have scored The Man with the Golden Gun 74 points.
74 points out of a possible 120.
So out of 240, what do we have?
I make it 155.
155.
155 for The Man with the Golden Gun, which I'm afraid is only good enough for 8th out of the 9 movies that we've done so far.
So even with the extraordinary talent of Christopher Lee,
it's not really scored, is it? No. Well, apologies if you like The Man with the Golden Gun. There are things in it I like, but it's not scored as highly as some of the others. So there we are, 155. Well, we would love to hear from you to let us know whether you agree or not with our conclusions, which, as you can see, have been arrived at very scientifically. If you would like to contact us, Twitter @ReviewKillShow is the way to contact us, or leave a little comment right under your video that you is watching now. Via the genius of the internet, we will see your comment. Isn't it clever? And subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is
Luxury tedium. So never put. I might put it up there this time, but you got to be on luxury tedium to be watching this.
Yes, but you may not have spotted it. Anyway, subscribe is what I'm saying. Subscribe to the show, please. We'd be very happy if you would do that.
We're exclusive.
We are. For exclusive offers and a newsletter and what else do you get if you subscribe? A night out with Tom, all sorts of things. So yeah, do subscribe. And at the next episode, we will look at The Spy Who Loved Me. So thank you very much for watching.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
Can I say the name's Erno? Ta-ra, Furno.
That's brilliant.
Cheers.
I'll drink to that.